Minister, you highlighted organizational renewal. It's one of the things that the ANC voted in favor of at its election conference in December, also that of unity. Thing is, it's 6 months since that conference took place in December, but what we are seeing from the outside is an ANC that remains deeply divided. Is this the correct perception?
The ANC is finding itself in a situation where the national dynamics of the country do actually expose individual characters and leaders of the African National Congress. Albeit the ANC has taken a resolution on a particular stance, the ANC has to then come out through its leaders and look at the conditions and see how it then expresses those things. That is very inconsistent, because what is important in the life of an organization is that there must be a collective ownership of everything that comes out of organizational processes. First, yes, we must all embrace the outcome of the elected leadership, but that leadership itself must carry the outcome of that elective conference in terms of resolutions, the declaration, including the closing statement by the president. The issues around economic transformation, the issues around land, the issues around poverty and inequality, we definitely as the organization have to remain consistent. And what is unfortunate now is that there are those who want to conduct themselves as victors out of Nasrec, and yet no faction won in Nasrec. Who won in Nasrec is the African National Congress. And that's why even after the conference, President Cyril Ramaphosa, together with other members of the National Office Bearers, went to meet Mama as part of the pilgrimage of the organization that says organizational renewal, self-correction, going back to basics. And Mama embraced everything that came out of Nasrec. And those who continue to try and assume that people are going to leave the ANC, nobody wants to leave the ANC, and nobody must be encouraged to leave the ANC, and nobody must assume to be owning the ANC. And in Mama's legacy, with all her own life experiences of this glorious movement, we also have to take a leaf and learn to tolerate one another and focus on what has brought all of us into the African National Congress, which is the liberation of our people.
And Minister, I mean, weekend reports are quite disturbing, raising the idea that this ANC that wants to unite itself remains divided, and there's a potential that there are some delegates there in the KZN who are essentially looking to split the national vote come the 2019 elections because, like you say, they are not happy with the fact that some of the resolutions that were agreed upon at the ANC elective conference, being land expropriation without compensation, being radical economic transformation, as you say, are being adhered to by the current administration. Could you speak to that? Is the ANC that divided that they're looking to split the national vote?
For now, for the record, there is no structure of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal that has come out to say we are moving away from the ANC. Nor is any individual member of the ANC no leader. It's what is being said out of what people assume. And what we need to appreciate is that there is no leader who's going to find comfort in reneging on the decisions of the highest decision-making body of the African National Congress, which is the National Conference. If there are challenges, those issues on implementation, because that has been the historical challenge, that the ANC is good at taking decisions, the ANC is good at formulating policies, but we are the worst when it comes to implementation. Let's come back within the organization and talk about those things. There isn't for now any indication, and I dare say, I supported Comrade Nkosazana. I'm amongst those national leaders who have gone throughout the length and breadth of the country campaigning for Comrade Nkosazana. Upon the outcome of Nasrec, we have rallied behind Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa as our president, and will rally behind him as the face of the African National Congress going into the elections. And nobody must think that I'm a stepchild or an unwanted, because stepchildren are loved. Nobody must think I'm unwanted in the ANC. I have a democratic right to raise an issue, and I must never be victimized because there are those who think they are victors. Nobody is a victor. The strength of the ANC, the fact that the ANC is 106 years old, it's its own internal party democracy, which people want to squash. We are not a monolithic organization. It's our diversity, it's our approach, because the primary outlook of the African National Congress is that of being pro-poor. And anything that we seek to be doing must actually seek to advance and improve the quality of life of the most vulnerable, which are the poor.
And the World Bank agrees with you. They've released a report today talking about the level of poverty in South Africa, saying that it is too high. But Minister, just a parting question. ANC member, that is former President Jacob Zuma, last week on a Friday appearing in court very briefly. What wasn't brief is what he had to say after that court proceeding. Minister, where he was talking about essentially, you know, there being a conspiracy to bring him down, and that those who had started this conspiracy would essentially regret that they did, because more truths would come out. As South Africans, particularly as people who, you know, stand by the ANC, should they be worried?
I think when the right time comes through the trial, maybe those revelations will come. I would not want to speak on behalf of former President Jacob Zuma, but I would want to say he is a member of the African National Congress. I hope the ANC would also give him a chance to come and present his side of the story to the African National Congress, and that through a fair trial, if there will be a fair trial, he will be in a position to state his views. Fortunately or unfortunately, the ANC has taken a decision that members should support President Zuma in their personal capacity. And that on its own does pose a challenge, because how do you then rein in your members when you have said they can go as free rangers? Because there should have been a confined way of saying you are presumed innocent until proven guilty, and then be in a position then to deal with these issues. We must guard against continuous ostracizing individuals in memory of how Mama has survived and lived within the African National Congress. We must never repeat that, especially with people that have shared trenches with us, notwithstanding their challenges. We must also be the ones that hold what the Constitution of the Republic actually dictates. You are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Well, Minister, thanks so much for your time. We will leave it there. That, of course, was the Minister of Communications, Nomvula Mokonyane.